So I have a Winchester 1897 takedown model. I'm going to be replacing the buttstock that was on here. The original one was a Packmeyer, and it is rock hard. I have no idea when it was installed, but this shotgun was made in 1912. So I'm going to remove the stock from the receiver and begin work on it. I'm using a reproduction Winchester 1897 butt plate. The recoil pad that was originally on the stock, the holes that were drilled in it do not match the original. I suspect the stock was cut down a few inches, but they no longer match. So I'm going to have to fill in the original screw holes with a 1/4-inch dowel, and then I will, once the glue sets, I will re-drill new holes for the butt pad. So I'm going to show that now. So I have the stock in a vise. I have a 1/4-inch drill bit with a flag that goes about 1.5 inches deep. I'm going to drill out these stock holes and then fill them with some 1/4-inch dowel. So I want to make sure to go slow on this. So I actually made the dowels slightly longer than the holes in case I drilled the hole too deep. I didn't want the dowel to go below the stock, and then I would have to sand the stock down or create another dowel to pull it out. But I roughened up these dowels so the glue will hopefully stick a little bit better. I'm using Gorilla Glue, Gorilla Wood Glue actually. So let's begin. Insert it in the hole. It's a pretty snug fit, so I'm gonna have to hammer them down. So it looks like they bottomed out. So that one bottomed out as well. I used a small double-sided hammer with a nylon tip and a brass tip. So get a wet cloth, wipe off the excess. Then I'm going to let this dry for about 24 hours. So we'll see how it looks tomorrow. It's been 24 hours. I think the dowels are glued in pretty good. I'm going to cut them flush. And then I will sand them down to get them flush. So I have an X-Acto knife with a flat chisel type blade. I'm gonna actually take that off first before I sand it flush. Just see if I can scrape some of this off. This chisel blade actually cut them pretty flush. I can't even feel them. So we'll move on to the next step after this. So I'm going to be fitting this butt plate onto the stock now. I have to position it in a way that I don't, when I do file it down to remove the material, that I don't actually get into the checkering of the butt plate. I've seen some people hold it down with masking tape. In my attempts to do so, the butt plate moved around too much. So I'm just going to hold it in place using my fingers as a guide, so I can visually look at it, make sure that it's centered and not too much material be removed from it. So it feels about centered left to right. It doesn't go over the top too much. Okay, so I think that looks good. over just a little. I'm using a very sharp pencil because you can see these holes are pretty deep. It's the screw slots, screw holes. So the top hole's right here and the bottom hole's right here. So just gonna be drilling a little small hole into the dowel as well. So that'll be the next step. All right, so I'm back over on my other bench with the vise. I'm going to be drilling those holes. Again, I made a little flag to know the depth that I should stop at. I'm going to go slow. Let's hope it all works out. Sorry for the split. I had to find a better fitting screwdriver bit since that other one was slipping. So let's continue screwing this in. Now I just need to do filing to get the sides flush with the rest of the stock. After a bunch of sanding and fitting and using the chisel X-Acto knife and a brand new box cutter blade, I have finished removing the material. You can see it's pretty scratched up on the actual butt pad compared to the top of it, which didn't have any sandpaper. I just got to take some fine sandpaper, or in this case, I have some fine nail files, so that way I can get really in there and polish it up, and it'll look just as clean as this. When you do the bottom, you want to try and keep this angle. I don't know if you can see that. When it goes onto, I guess that would be considered like the toe of the buttstock. And then the same thing on the top, you want it to be flat and all the angles to match, so that way it doesn't look too wonky. And you know, because it's very easy to take your file, let me see, you know, just a file and file that part flat. You want to keep the angle of the stock on both sides, just looks a lot better. So the next step, like I said, is going to be taking some really fine nail files or sandpaper and polishing up this outside so that way it looks good. So after about an hour and a half of sanding, I finally felt satisfied with what I could get with the tools that I have. Mainly a nail file, polishing nail file. There are some chunks taken out on the butt plate. It's from using the chisel portion of the X-Acto knife. If I went a little bit slower, I probably could have avoided this. The chisel definitely helps speed things up, but as you can see, a little bit of sloppy work on here. But that's fine. This is a shooter. It's not just something that's going to be sitting in my safe or displayed on a wall. It's definitely going to be used. I reassembled the shotgun. Everything looks pretty good. And thank you for watching the video. I hope you learned something. I'm going to have some links in the description of the longer 30-minute to 40-minute long videos where gave me the confidence to take on this project. And hopefully my video is a quick summary of what you could do if you find yourself in the same situation. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.